got a ballistic solution app on my...
Tuna grounds are on the ocean, Tommy.
We're going to do that. Don't go anywhere.
We've got all the great fish that make great fish and chips.
Hey, good evening and welcome. Apparently we're over here, Tommy. I forgot. Yeah, good evening and welcome. Fish Out Northwest, Wayne England, Tommy Donlin. A little camera change up, a little studio adjustment. I'm still getting used to all this movement here, buddy. I can't keep up. We got too many changes going on too fast. So hey, it is Thursday night, 6 p.m. We are live here out of our studio on the lovely shores of Summit Lake here in Olympia, Washington. Good to see you, bud.
It's good to see you.
We had a great evening the other night. A little Ducks Unlimited pre-funk thing put on by Mike Olson and crew for Ducks Unlimited, Snoqualmie Valley Club. So got some good things to look forward to in that regard.
And the food was absolutely phenomenal.
Well, Chef Jeff.
Yeah.
Finn's Bistro, if you haven't been there, holy smokes, you're missing out. The food is amazing. As always, thank you to everybody that participated in that. Good to spend some time talking with Mike Coombs.
Yes. Owner
of Sport Coho. So, yeah, it was a great evening. We had a good time. So, nice to see you were able to make it down here this evening in all the traffic.
Absolutely.
Anyway, lots to cover tonight, Tommy, as we do each and every night. Going to have a little tuna update. Have some interesting youth opportunities coming out of Oregon and Washington. We'll get into a little bit later here as we progress through the show. Also stumbled across this interesting little tidbit of info called the Super Hunt out of Idaho. I'm going to read you that one. That is pretty interesting, and it's not just exclusive to residents of Idaho. Yeah, those that reside outside of Idaho also can qualify for this if you're willing to get in on the drawing. Checking in with a couple of stellar fishermen this evening, guides in their own right. Aaron Peterson, Peterson's Northwest Guide, will be on here shortly, and of course Tom Tucker, also no stranger to the show. 360 Fishing. Both those guys are chasing Chinook and/or Coho. Predominantly Chinook, obviously on the Upper Columbia with Aaron, but we're going to tie in with Tom down in the ocean fishery on Coho right now, and also check in with him on his projections as we roll into Buoy 10. Buoy 10 opens this Saturday, August 1st, so lots of folks are getting amped up about that. Going to be a phenomenal fishery. Looking forward to. Hey, we got a great in the Bait Lab live presentation tonight, curing eggs, but not just curing eggs, we're curing uncured frozen Coho eggs. And Tommy, I don't know, you haven't spent a lot of time curing eggs over the years. I have, and there's a right way and a wrong way to cure uncured frozen eggs. You can really screw them up. So
I've done it once.
Have you?
And then I used them for halibut bait.
Yeah, there you go. That sounds about right. So see if we can turn our volume up. Okay. Well, we had some changes going on there. Gary, thanks for letting us know. Make sure that knob clear to the left. Jordan is all the way up. Everything is all the way up. So we'll see what we can do. We'll see if we need to turn that up a little bit, or maybe it's your volume on your TV, Gary. We'll check it out. Anybody else having volume issues, let us know, and we'll try to make some adjustments here. Number of fisheries to talk about. Our wolf conversation with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service will be postponed until next week. They had a little bit of, I don't want to call it confliction, but they had a little bit of difficulty in getting the authorization to have this discussion, which, you know, governmental agency, things take time.
Right.
So we'll check in with that next week. Looking forward to closing that out. But we do have the Bait Lab. We also have a little piece we're going to bring to you. Made it down to PL the other day. Went and spent a little time with our buddy Jason Phelps. Phelps Game Calls.
This really bummed me out that I couldn't go.
I'm sorry. Trying to get our schedules aligned is just crazy.
It's hard.
So busy.
Yeah.
So made a flame run down to PL area and got to walk into Jason's new establishment there and check out all that they have going on there at Phelps Calls. And of course we got the new aluminum tube with the external mouthpiece that we'll talk about a little later in the show. If you're an elk hunter, even if you're just starting out, this is a game changer. And so put together a little video segment with Jason, and we'll get into that a little later in the show. So yeah, lots going on.
And it is a game changer, because when I was walking up to the studio and I heard the bugle of that bull elk, I was thinking about, where am I? And who's in the studio, right?
There's no way.
There's no way
they're doing
that sound is coming from Dwayne England, but sure enough. And I mean,
I'll take that as a compliment.
We'll get into it, but I think this, you know, when you say game changer, I think for the the novice bugler, this is going to change the game. So I'm looking forward to getting into that discussion.
Absolutely, yeah. Good point. So before we jump in too far along here, I want to remind everybody that Fish on Northwest is presented by Better Homes and Gardens Pacific Commons, located in Puyallup, Washington. Of course, our good friends out at Defiance Marine. Defiance Marine, located in Bremerton, manufacturers of the Defiance, the Allied, and of course, the beloved Allied series. And of course, our good buddies over there at Phoenix Protective Corp, www.phoenixprotectivecorp. If you are ex-military or police looking for work, fantastic company to go to work for. JC and his crew are top-notch, providing security all along the West Coast, and a good company to work for. Check them out at www.phoenixprotectivecorp.com. Now with that, Tommy, lots going on around the Pacific Northwest and beyond. Mm-hmm. You got tuna on the brain, my man. So,
yeah, it is that time of year.
Yeah. So what has transpired as of late this last week? Got any good reports going ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. So the tuna, the tuna are here. I think at first, when that first push of warm water came in, we were seeing, like a couple, like a handful, okay, like 3 to 5 fish per trip type of thing, and really waiting for that biomass to move in and really set up on the break.
Yeah.
And that biomass is here. And it's still a little bit of a roller coaster ride, but the boats that are going out are still getting anywhere from 10 fish a trip to 25 fish a trip, kind of in that mid-20s being the higher end right now.
Yeah.
And that's pretty typical for that early season. The fish are not all collected in one area. They're kind of spread out. And so early season, and we've always kind of said it, is that's when you're going to be trolling a lot. And you typically don't get all of your fish on like a live bait stop. You may go half and half, but it's really important to make sure you've got your troll game dialed in.
Yeah.
Because those fish are spread out. So you may find smaller pockets of, 10 to 15 fish, and you're getting a couple of them, right?
Yeah.
You throw a bait, you may get one bait, one fish on bait, or you may get 3. It's not typically, kind of that late season when it's run and gun and you're seeing jumpers, and you roll up on a patch of jumpers and you're throwing bait, and all of a sudden you go wide open and you rail 40 tuna, right?
Sure.
And, I do have, one complaint about the expectations with this tuna fishery, because it has become an expectation of catching.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that it's still a fishery, right? You still have to go out. You still have to find these fish. You still have to put in the work.
Right.
And it just bugs me when people go, oh, you only caught 15 tuna. That's slow. Let me tell you what, anywhere else in the world you catch 15 tuna, that is like a banner 5-star day.
It's a great day, right?
And so I think we got to make sure that it's we have realistic expectations going into a tuna fishery. If we can go out and we can find him and we get 10, I'm happy about that, right? Now we all dream of that day when you come up and you see 10,000 square feet of jumping tuna and it's just wide open, and that's what keeps us coming back week after week.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. There's fish here. The water's looking good. The thing is, we've got a little bit of a blow coming up. It's going to come out of that northwest, and what I'm hoping for is, during that blow, I'm hoping that reinforces and sets that hard edge and kind of puts a well-defined temp break in place.
What's the date of that blow? Because we're on the water on the 7th, so I want it to be before the 7th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's, it's going to start, it looks like it's going to start blowing, Thursday.
Okay.
And kind of pick up from there, max out Friday, Saturday, and then start coming down on Sunday.
Okay.
That's this weekend, of course. And so, with the tuna, and it's interesting, they actually bite well when it's windy, when you have a little bit of chop on the surface. Now, you get too much chop, you get a major storm roll through, it really churns up the water, especially if it's out of the south. It blows that break apart. And now you've got all this mixed water on the surface. So you look at a sea surface temperature chart, and it basically tells you there's no well-defined break anymore.
Yeah.
And it kind of really scatters those fish. So I'm hoping that, this blow sets the break and doesn't break it apart. It's coming out of the right direction. So, it may kick the fleet off the water for a day or two, depending on which vessel it is. But we'll know by Sunday because I'm going.
Yeah, yes, you are. Matter of fact, and as you were speaking through that, and you finally arrived there, I'm just sitting here in my mind. You're like, yeah, man, manage your expectations, right? I mean, manage your expectations. It is still fishing, and you're right. Everybody goes out there with these, huge expectations of major success. Not always the case, especially early season. I think your comparison there is valid, and it's well said. So. Yeah, we'll see what the weekend holds in store for you, and kind of look forward to a little over a week from now, 10 days from now or so, on the 7th, when we finally get to get out there and get out there and fish, provide cameras and capture some great footage and some technique points and things to bring back here in the studio for folks to enjoy.
Yep, I'm going to try to tune down my yelling just a little bit. I'm still going to be very excited.
We're going tuna fishing. There is no.
But I'm going to try to temper it a little bit.
Yeah. If you've seen Tommy on the halibut grounds and when we boat Chinook, and the enjoyment and the expressions and the boisterous activity spewing forth out of his nugget, you have seen nothing yet. Once we get on the tuna, this will be something for all to take in. So, hey, with that, we want to move along here. Oregon is offering up a free pheasant hunt for youth hunters, Tommy, throughout and around the state. Now, registration is now. That's why we bring this to you. So for Oregon residents, pay attention. This actually takes place in September, but they get such a huge push of folks interested in getting their youth and kids in age 17 and under to be involved in this opportunity. You got to start registration now. You can sign up now, ODF&W. It's free pheasant hunts happening around the state starting in September with an additional few hunt dates in October yet to be released. ODF&W is partnering with stock pheasants groups, and these special hunts they give youth a head start on regular pheasant seasons, which don't begin until October. They're mostly held on the ODF&W wildlife areas, and looks like they have about 12 different locations, and the dates vary. Go to odfnw.com. Simple way to Google it, and it takes you right there. Folks, I always look under news feeds when looking for bits of information, whether it's ODF&W, WDFW, Idaho Fish and Game. Look under the news feeds. You're going to find all this information, relevant information that they release weekly. So they're putting this out there now so that you all can take advantage of it, get your kids signed up, take advantage of those hunts later on as we roll out of summer and into early fall. Also, deadline is approaching for the second Super Hunt drawing, Tommy, August 10th. And I'm telling you, man, I wish Washington would do something like this. Second Super Hunt drawing for Idaho will be for 2 elk, 2 deer, 2 pronghorn, and 1 moose. Another Super Hunt combo entry will also be drawn, and the winners will be notified by August 20th. Now, hunters may enter the drawings at licensed vendors or the Fish and Game offices or online. You can also buy as many entries as you want for the Super Hunts or Super Hunt combo.
And how much is an entry?
All the information's online. I didn't dig that deep. All I know is you can get on there, look at what your price ranges are, buy as many entries because it's a drawing, right? It's a drawing. The Super Hunt winners get the best of the best by being able to hunt any open hunt in Idaho for the species they draw, general or controlled hunts until they tag an animal. No license is needed to enter the Super Hunt drawing for either resident or non-resident. Of course, you got to buy a license after you're awarded. So, interesting. Simply go to idaho.gov/Super Hunt. Just go under Idaho Hunt, and you can put in Super Hunt, and it's going to pop right up. Interesting bits of information there, something to get in on. Not going to cost you a ton of money. Of course, I mean, you could break the bank if you want to enter.
But there's a lot of people that do that. You know, to some extent, these things can become a rich person's game for sure.
It certainly can.
And so I typically don't entertain the Super Hunt just because of that. I'd like a more. As you know, I'm a planner.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I like to have a defined plan going into season instead of relying on a raffle effectively to get in. But yeah. It is an option. It
is an option. There are, like you said, folks that put in a lot of money to those things, and some of them are rewarded handsomely. And I mean, if you do land it, the opportunity is just unbelievable.
Oh, forget it, right?
So, anyway, lots of folks jumping in here tonight, saying hello, and we appreciate that. Larry Surdick, by the way, says tuna not yet. Still need to get us dirty 30 king. So, lots of guys chiming in. Lots of bits of information, a few questions here, some interesting comments.
Well, and Larry is a Rivers Inlet veteran.
Yeah.
And so I know it's killing the Surdick family that they're not in Rivers Inlet coming up this next week.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I totally understand Larry's sentiment of, hey, show me the big kings before we move on to tuna. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get through some of these comments here, Tommy. Hopefully we can address them later on. We're going to jump out for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Aaron Peterson, Peterson's Northwest Guide, on the phone talking Upper Columbia Chinook opportunity. Let me tell you, it's pretty much lights out over there. Some nice quality fish.
Right on.
The Brewster Derby's coming up here the following weekend. Aaron's going to give a little insight on that. If you plan on fishing that Derby, perhaps some things to think about, where to go, how the fishery's performing. Just kind of dial it all in for you to find success. Aaron's willing to do that, so we're going to jump out for a 2-minute break. We come back. Aaron Peterson on the phone right here at Fish Hunt Northwest.
Defiance Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Whether you are looking for a small skiff to fish the Sound or rivers, or a huge offshore tuna machine, Defiance Marine has it. At Defiance Marine, be sure to power your boat with a Honda outboard package. Take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty on your Honda outboards. Our service department is always here to help and serve you as the customer. Did you know Defiance Marine has boat financing experts to help get you the best term rates on your new boat purchase? If you need financing for that new boat, call us today. We guarantee the best price, best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine also carries all the gear that you will need. Everything from auxiliary kicker motors to fishing tackle and bait. Defiance Marine has certified technicians that are top-notch at their job. Some of the best in the Pacific Northwest at evaluating your boat issues and problems. Stop in today or give us a call for all your needs at Defiance Marine.
Today, the need for quality private security services is at an all-time high. Contract Security Service provides day-to-day peace of mind as they protect people and property. Here at Phoenix, we provide service for multiple state and federal contracts with services ranging from uniform, patrol, alarm monitoring, canine detection, executive protection, as well as investigative work. Phoenix client management models are built on understanding our clients' security needs and responding with a tailored program that is best fit for them. Phoenix provides excellent customer service through well-trained, highly motivated security professionals. Recruiting highly qualified officers is the first step in building a strong team. Currently, we are comprised of 70% prior law enforcement and military veterans. If you are prior military or law enforcement, go to www.phoenixprotectivecorps.com and apply today.
Welcome back, Fish Hunt Northwest. Waiting on Tommy Donlin here in studio, as we are each and every Thursday. Hey, if you haven't done so, jump over to our YouTube channel, please. Hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything, and all our information is there, updated weekly, daily, relevant, and help us build that. Spread that content out there. Do us a favor. Get it out there on YouTube. I don't know how much longer we're going to be putting up with Facebook, Tommy, to be honest. So just putting that out there. We're trying to diversify and get it out there. So go to YouTube, subscribe, build that channel for us. All right, with that, I want to introduce our next guest. Been on the show a few times. Actually been kind of in a quasi-studio in the past, too, at the sportsman shows. Aaron Peterson, Peterson Northwest Guide, joining us this evening, fishing that Upper Columbia that you're so fond of and do so well. How the heck are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're good, man. It's a little toasty over here. It wasn't 103 today, by the way, Tommy, like over there. Yeah. 103, Aaron?
Yeah, had to soak in the river for a few hours today.
Yeah, no doubt. What's the weather forecast through the weekend? Because it's getting pretty toasty here. Actually, we're going to cool down on Sunday, but pretty warm tomorrow. What are you looking at the next few days over there?
I think we're going to hit 105, 106, and then that really scary thing's popping up Sunday night, rain. So we haven't seen rain in 5-6 weeks, and that just means the fish are going to find somewhere new to go.
Huh, interesting. That'll get them cruising on upriver, and you'll have to figure out exactly where and how far? Or?
There's definitely pros and cons to rain. You get new fish, fresh fish, but you also lose quite a bit of fish.
Yeah, yeah. So talk about the area you've been focused on as of late. Where you mostly spinning the gear, and what type of quality of fish? What are you finding?
Actually, I've spent a lot more time on Brewster recently with the sockeye closure than I normally do. I usually don't move into Brewster till the end of July and beginning of August and just work on those sockeye, but we lost about 400 boats off Brewster with no sockeye fishing, so the king fishing's been awesome. And I'm still hopping back and forth to Chelan Falls, Beebe Bridge area, but Brewster's been pretty good. Literally,
that number of folks stop fishing because the sockeye closes? They don't stay in the area and keep going after the Chinook?
Well, it's just known so much for that sockeye fishery. I mean, we get people from California, Idaho, Arizona. I mean, it attracts. It's a cool fishery. It's just the setting alone, the thermal that sets up at the mouth of the Okanagan and stopping 100,000 fish. I mean, it's just a bloodbath. So it attracts a lot of people.
So do you ever get into a situation where you're targeting Chinook and the sockeye are still a problem? They're getting on your Chinook gear. And how do you change your tactics to get away from that? Or is it just, another sockeye, release that one, send the gear back down?
Well, it's funny you said that, because usually I'll run sockeye trips, go out there and do the old Dodger thing, troll slow as possible. And, half an hour, you got your sockeye and you're heading in. But this season was getting the bycatch of the sockeye on king gear. I was like, hey, we're going to target kings all day, guys, all morning. And we're going to catch sockeye every 10, 15 minutes. And we're going to limit our sockeye and catch kings. So, I mean, I was using pro trolls pretty much all season at Brewster this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't even have to put a Dodger on. They're so aggressive. So.
Huh. And
yep.
You were on the 11-inch Dodge or Pro Troll,
yeah.
or okay, yeah.
Yep, 360 Pro Trolls, spinners, super baits, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now focusing on kings, particularly, what's kind of your go-to water temperature at this point? Even play a role in making any changes on that? Any specific colors that are working?
Well, these fish, as you know, they're traveling 400 plus miles. They're not here to eat. Mm-hmm. They're here to smell where they're going and die. So it's really getting that instinctual bite, tricking them. So a lot of downhill trolling, a lot of shorter leaders, spinners, reds, yellows, just that aggression stuff.
Any scent?
Yeah. I mean, I'm always hopping on with shank, salmon, or krill stuff. That's always my go-to bag. So. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does your leader length vary if you're rolling a spinner versus a super bait or any other options?
I definitely shorten my leaders with spinners. Summer fish are not as aggressive a fall fish, so it's not like you're getting into that 24-inch range or 26 range, but you're definitely not running that traditional super bait herring 4 or 5 foot leaders like you used to. I mean, people still are. They're still doing good, holding in some of the deep pockets, but I just feel like those fish have so much time to make that decision, swimming up, looking at it. I mean, you look at your electronics, you got them streaking all day long off the bottom and looking at that stuff. Yeah. And it's driving people nuts. Okay, well, change some. Don't look at it all day. Turn your boat downhill or shorten your leaders.
Right.
And that's all it takes. Get on the throttle. Let off the throttle. Yeah, just little things like that up here.
How much weight does it take?
Lead balling, I mean, you can run 12s, 10s, 8s. Just depends the depth of the water and the speed you want to troll. But, I mean, a really safe bet up here is 12s, 10s, 8s, 10s, 8s, 6s. You start fishing that 50-foot deep holes, you can do 14s, 16s in the bow and stagger back.
So talk about the progression. You kind of mentioned, troll downhill, right? Change your leader length, right? Throttle up, throttle down, turn left, turn right. When you run into that situation where, the bite's died, it's slow, what is your progression? I mean, what's the first thing you do, the second thing, the third thing? Like, what goes through your mind? And then is there data that you're looking at? Is there something that the sonar tells you, either in terms of what you're marking or the temperature, or what are those key things that you're looking for, and how do you change your total presentation?
Well, to be honest with you, I think that sun is a big factor over here. I mean, those fish are constantly wanting to get into those shallows and those, work that contour line. They don't just want to sit on a 40 line all day. They want to come up, get in the current, get back out of the current. They want to find a 4-degree temperature change. Are you going to have more aggressive fish on this line or in this temperature? So, I mean, there's lots of mornings I'll start in 20-some feet of water and work it, and I don't troll straight. I look at that map and I follow that line, and my boat's doing S's and moving and throttling up over humps and throttling down to let the gear down. and people probably think I'm can't drive or shit, but oops, I can't say that. But I don't troll straight.
Right.
I like to fish a contour line, so I'm not adjusting my gear as much. My throttle's my adjustment. You know, it's not a downrigger ball that's in that zone all the time. They're coming up 5 feet, they're going down 5 feet, just with the twist of a throttle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that sun gets up, and people start beating on them in the shallows. So move out deeper water, and you can shorten leaders. You can go downhill. I mean, those fish. I mean 100 degrees. Water's probably 2 degrees higher than normal right now. So I mean, these fish are really hanging out in that 40, 50 foot of water.
Colder water. Mm-hmm. What is the temp? What is the temp that you're seeing day in, day out?
I'm really seeing a consistent 64 to 66 on the main stem up here. Mm-hmm. Brewster's a little different. They don't have as much flow out of Chief, Joseph, and Wells. I mean, Wells pumped, but it seems like the water we don't have the flow as heavy as the Chelan Falls fishery. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you're going to find pockets of water at Brewster that go all the way up to 74, 75 degrees, as low as 62. So you just kind of got to find those aggressive fish, move around a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Aaron, before we let you go, what bits of information can you give folks who are signing up or thinking about signing up and coming on over there and joining in on the Brewster Salmon Derby, which takes place the first weekend of August, I believe, yeah.
Oh, great event. 3-day derby with, I think 2,000 to the king of the pool, the biggest fish, and prizes all the way through 25, random giveaways, just an awesome time to meet great fishermen, help support a smaller town. And really, I mean, you're going to catch 20, 30, 40 kings in a couple days up there with a good chance to put some money in your wallet. It's a good time.
Yeah, well attended. I mean, there's a good number of folks that come from the west side over there. There's folks come from Idaho. Well attended, very well ran. Something that I keep meaning to do. Maybe after I retire, if I can get to retirement, maybe next year, plan on heading over there and spending a few days and a little pre-fish, and then get on in for that derby and see how we do. So, are you taking that weekend off?
That's a good question. I'm getting kind of torn to do the derby, but part of me wants to kind of sneak back home for a week before I go down to the old Buoy 10 and play. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we got folks on here chiming in. It's a tough choice. Brewster or Buoy 10 is what folks are commenting.
Fish or fish?
Yeah, fish or fish. Go where the fish are or go where the fish are. Right. So Brewster 10, Buoy 10, or Buoy 10. I mean,
the 40-degree change in weather is kind of the deciding factor right there. Let's go to the marine weather.
Yeah. Definitely sunny days ahead down at the lower end of the river, but moderate temperatures what makes that just so enjoyable, right? Yeah. So, well, hey man, we'll be down there mid-August for a full week down there at Buoy 10. So looking forward to running into you down there.
In the new boat?
Yeah, of course.
Well, save me a seat. I'll bring the beer.
Oh, perfect. Sign you up.
Dwayne drinks White Claws. I just wanted to let you know. Either that or a wine cooler.
That's Certic. We've been through this, right? Certic's drink of choice is a cooler full of White Claws, and just let him ride in the seat. He's happy. So anyway, hey man, always appreciate you jumping on. Really good info as per usual. And for folks heading up to the upper Columbia, still want to chase some of those Chinook because there's still plenty of them coming. And put some time in on that derby and find some success. Appreciate your info, bud.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, good night, guys.
Yep, see you.
Kings and Claws, I think that's a new T-shirt idea.
Kings and Claws. Ooh, yeah, there's only one man that could probably wear that shirt. And it's going to be a white shirt in pink lettering. Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal. Anyway, all right, Aaron Peterson, a heck of a guy. If you haven't checked out what he has going on, go to his Facebook page. Check out Aaron Peterson, Peterson's Northwest Guide. On his Facebook page, his webpage, check out what he has available and book a trip in his boat. You will not be disappointed. Another guy who is on the radar of many and very busy as of late, been fishing Ocean Coho Tommy, doing some combo trips with some catch and release sturgeon as he's waiting for Buoy 10 to open up. We're going to check in with Tommy Tucker, owner of 360 Fishing, when we come back After the break, we're going to talk Ocean Coho, what's been getting it done, and also a little preview of what he's thinking is going to be happening down there at Buoy 10 as it opens up here August 1st. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Jump out for a couple minutes here. We'll be back in studio with Tommy Tucker on the phone, 360 Fishing, right here at Fish Hunt Northwest.
Co, an outdoor emporium, is the largest local outfitter in the Northwest since 1975, providing thousands of people affordable outdoor gear. This summer, make your next outdoor adventure more affordable by shopping at our warehouse-style pricing. We are a local Scotty dealer, offering sales, service, and repair. Located in Fife and Seattle, come visit us today. The outdoors await you.
It's easier than ever to browse homes and connect with an agent on the go with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate's mobile app. With the app, your home search is synced across all of your devices, so you can pick up your home search anytime, anywhere. Take full advantage of an enriched, mobile-optimized map search experience. Use location services to quickly find homes near you that match your search criteria. Draw your own map boundaries to find homes in a specific area, and apply layers to view school districts, neighborhoods, zip codes, and more. The app's user-friendly design makes it easier than ever to find a home you'll love. Narrow down your search results, save your search criteria, and save your favorite homes. You can browse your saved homes in a list view that puts photos and key details like price and square footage right at your fingertips. Or check out your saved homes displayed on the map.
Yep, for sure. Oh yeah, big fish. Yeah, buddy. Nice fish. Oh, beauty. Gorgeous fish.
Bobby's on the board.
We got a good one.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh geez, come on.
nice fish. Nice fish.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we're back. Welcome, Fish Hunt Northwest. I was looking right at it. I didn't even see the light come on. So, hey, you know, got almost a new.
What are we going to do with you?
Yeah, I think it's Jordan's fault, man. It's Jordan's fault. We're
of course.
I know, he's trying. He's trying to keep his dad in line anyway. Hey, I want to welcome to the show Tom Tucker, 360 Fishing. He's been out there getting it done on the ocean and some combo trips of a little catch and release sturgeon, but ultimately he's getting ready for this Buoy 10 opener. But I don't know about you, Tommy, but I want to hear how this Coho Ocean Fisheries been performing just outside of the mouth of Columbia there. Tom, welcome to the show tonight, man.
Hey, thanks, Dwayne, Tommy.
Yeah, so you've been on the ocean chasing Coho. Let's kind of put that in perspective for folks. Like, how far out over the bar are you going? How deep are you finding these Coho? And are there any size to them yet?
Yeah, so most days it's kind of heading out towards the CR buoy like most other boats. And just depending on what the wind's doing and the current's doing, I might start my troll, in that 150-foot area and kind of work my way out to the 200 that, the CR buoy sits on. But usually I'll kind of head out there and see what's happening. And then most of the time there has been some fish around there, but they definitely disperse throughout the day and definitely had to do a little hunting for them after the first morning bite.
Now, in terms of tides, Tom, are you really focusing on that incoming where you're kind of, not only is there more fish coming into the river system, but you're also getting that swell and current alignment so it's not as, bumpy?
Yeah, so right now I'm kind of just trying to get across the bar, like for the ocean fishing. I'm not looking as much at the tides as I am on just getting out across the bar while I can, and trying to get out there for, the morning bite that has been pretty consistent. When it comes to the river, I'll definitely be
fishing a little more tide dependent.
So you're out, say, 150, 200 foot of water. How deep are you finding these fish actually suspended?
They're pretty close to the surface for the most part. So that's kind of been where, you know, you still have to kind of fish for them. It's not like you can go troll around the CR buoy and just keep catching fish all day. I've definitely noticed, you know, marking bait down at like 70 feet of water, and then trying to get gear down there has kind of been the make or break point. You know, midday when everything kind of slows down, or those fish have definitely seemed to be going a little bit deeper, but I'm not going out much further than like 250 feet of water, and a lot of it's been trolling south, kind of towards Astoria. The biggest thing out there has kind of just been getting a good troll line. Definitely a lot of water moving around, and, you know, if you're not finding the fish, it's usually best to just pick up and move around.
For those not familiar with this fishery, Tom, is this lead show, divers, downriggers? How you putting the gear out?
Yeah, so I mean, you can really do it all those ways, and there's plenty of guys who fish downriggers out there when they just got a couple rods. That works great. There's dudes running divers. I personally run lead, just because I can run 6 rods effectively at the depths I want, you know, with lead. But yeah, they're definitely in that, you know, top column of water, that top 25 feet of water for most of the day. But yeah, that's pretty much how I run it. Just lead, flasher. I'll switch between, you know, the 360 flashers and the triangle flashers, kind of depending on how fast I'm trolling and what the current's doing.
Now, I know, you know, coho, just in their nature, are kind of psychotic little creatures, right? I mean, you know, you got them on lead, they hammer your rig, and all of a sudden they're doing somersaults over the top of the water. I mean, is there anything that you do with, like, you know, whether the rod that you're choosing or how you set up the gear? I mean, I know a lot of guys, I mean, myself included, I've played with snubbers. I've played with, you know, putting divers on a sliding sinker. I mean, do you do anything to try to combat that, or just, you know, keep the boat in gear, make sure you keep the tension on the line? What are you doing there?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. You know, honestly, when all the coho madness is going on, and there is a lot of coho out there outside of the Columbia. So when you get into them, it can be, you know, if you got 6 or 7 rods fishing, you might see 4 or 5 rods go off at once. It kind of just turns into a little bit of a shit show trying to land as many as you can. I can't say I've got a good method for that than just trying to get as many as I can in the net and in the boat. But yeah, I'm not messing around with, I am messing around using like spinners and, you know, the cut plugs, like the Brad's cut plugs and stuff like that, like those baits, so they can kind of get, especially in the morning, and there's a lot of feeder, you know, Chinook out there, a lot of feeder coho. You're getting hit a lot. So if you got just all bait out there, you're going to be getting hit constantly, and you're going to have to check baits and swap baits, and it's just kind of slowing down the process. So definitely for me, having some, you know, some plastic baits out there, some spinners, that's definitely helped keep me fishing longer. You know, and then when things slow down, maybe I'll mess with the bait a little bit more. And
yeah, it makes sense. I mean, if you're spending more time re-rigging, rebaiting lines out of the water, you're not fishing effectively, and the bite can be over before we know it. Tom, any particular colors on your 360s or spinner presentation that you kind of rely on? Give folks a little idea of, you know, some go-tos that are always good choices to have in their box when they hit the ocean?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're fishing that coho fishery, you know, color of flasher, chrome, you know, on the 360s is generally what I run when I'm out there. I might mess around with some triangles that have some pink in them. Blue's a hot color if you got any of those. But that's pretty much it for flashers out there. As far as like riggings go, spinner colors, obviously, you know, pinks are great. Anything like that, those little pink brads, those get it done. Yeah, I mean, and pretty much if I am going to throw bait out there, I'll definitely make sure it's blinged out with, you know, pink hoochie, a little spinner blade that matches.
Yeah.
Some tinsel, just something to give it a little, you know, it's a coho.
Yeah. They like flash and pop in circumstance.
Yeah, and they love that pink. But I'll also try to fish one rod, you know, with more like a green triangle flasher and maybe just a single anchovy, and drop that one down a little deeper first thing in the morning and see if there's a king around that wants to participate.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's kind of move back in river as you work towards the this opener coming up here on August 1st, Buoy 10. Everybody's excited about it. The preseason forecasts are pretty doggone impressive, and good reasons to be excited down there. I mean, we're gonna have a ton of folks. You and I were talking the other day, and yeah, I'm waiting until that second nice softer set of tides here about the 15th, mid-month. Gosh, we get to keep 2 fish, get to keep Wilder Hatchery, Chinook by then. What are you going into this first week? What are you kind of anticipating? Any ideas?
Yeah, so the first week, I mean, I was going through photos just the other day in my phone over the last handful of years and just kind of looking how that first week has been when we have been able to fish it. And it's one of those ones where there's definitely some lower river fish in the system. We're not going to see a bunch of those upriver bright fish swimming around in the system that first week. But there's definitely going to be some late springers, some late summer Chinook. And there's going to be some of those fish going to like the Lewis River and stuff like that where, so there's going to be some fish around. I'm definitely going to be kind of focusing fishing kind of deeper. I feel like those fish that have been holding in there for a little while, I generally got to fish them deeper. I can't fish the incoming tides like you can, mid-month where there's so many fish getting pushed in on like an incoming. You can just sit and, be in that back troll waiting for fish to come by your gear.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be covering a lot of area and just looking for, those few fish that are probably in there. Not going to be sticking in one spot, just grinding it out. That's kind of what I got planned for the first week. Who knows how things will be. The ocean might calm down, so might head out into the ocean if the king bite is slow. And, we'll just kind of see how it plays out.
Yeah, you spend most of your time Washington side, Oregon side, or you just every day there's just no guarantee. You're moving around until you find those fish, and then you just stick with them and ride them on in on that incoming tide as far up as that tide will continue to push them up. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, everybody, every opener at Buoy 10, there's going to be a lot of people over there by shipwreck, and there's always a few fish, it seems like, over there early season. So definitely going to be checking that out. But in past years, I've definitely found success around that Hammond area where there's not nearly as many people fishing and there's probably not as many fish. But when you take, when you go from 100 boats over there at shipwreck that first week or more than that to 20, 30 boats trolling around Hammond, sometimes you can find some fish that way, just kind of getting away from the crowd, especially in that first week when there's not a ton of fish around.
Yep.
Well, way to go, Tom. I think you just moved the crowd over to Hammond.
Or move the crowd over to where the boats are, and then all of a sudden now all the boats are there. So, anyway.
Collect them in one area.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, you'll be down there better part of the month for sure, and we'll be running around down there in the Defiance Allied for sure. Black boat, hard to miss. So looking forward to seeing you down there, man. It's going to be good to finally shake hands after we've talked on the show a number of times and on the phone numerous times. So yeah, it'd be finally good to see you down there, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely, Dwayne. I'm looking forward to seeing you out there in the new boat and hopefully crushing it.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. That fishery is one I am obviously still a novice, still learning. Some years have been very, very good. Other years it's it's Buoy 10, man. There's no guarantee. So a lot of fish coming though. So I feel like I can find an acorn. So we'll see what
They're
happens.
saying we're going to get more fish than we did last year, and last year was epic. They kept reopening it. So this year should be amazing.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, appreciate you jumping on tonight. Really good info as always, and we'll look forward to seeing you down there, Tom.
Absolutely, Dwayne. Tommy, thanks for having me.
You bet.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
See you.
Bye.
Yep, Tom Tucker, 360 Fishing. Look him up. The guy fishes year-round. Even if you're looking for something down the road, because he books up so quick, if you're thinking now, perhaps maybe a late fall terminal fishery in some of our terminal rivers, want to go in a drift boat, want to spend some time chasing trophy steelhead. Later this year, early winter or late into winter, after the first of the year, Tom will definitely put you on it. He does drift boat, he does raft trips on some of our smaller rivers throughout the state. The guy knows his way around, especially the 360 area code, if you haven't figured that out. So anyway, great guy, always full of really good info, and he will be putting a smackdown on him down there at Buoy 10, Tommy. So, all right, we're going to jump out for a quick break. Next up, this little video that I put together. Took some time, not yesterday, 2 days ago. Ran down to Phelps Camp, the Phelps venue as it is, and Jason Phelps, owner of Phelps Game Calls, and spent a little time in his new shop, checking it out, kind of walking around, just taking it all in, the assembly area, the totes all getting packed full of stuff that's going out mid-season, next season. Very, very busy production thing going on down there. All the different calls they're putting on market now. You know, we start off with turkey and basically elk calls, reed calls right now, or diaphragms. Now we're into his full waterfowl line. He's got his predator line, deer calls. You're in manufacturing, fine-tuning a few of those things, the barrels and whatnot, hitting the market here soon. So yeah, they are buried in the evolution of Phelps and the tie-in now with Meat Eater and the ownership there. I mean, it's a amazing relationship and an evolution Jason never saw coming. So took some time to go down there, check out his facility, and more so to check out this new creation out of the Phelps camp, Tommy. This is the aluminum build with this bugle, and it has the external one-piece mouthpiece that pops on. You can also put on the external piece if you want to use your diaphragm. So it's multifaceted. It's an aluminum bugle. It's the first on the market for them in this regard. Jason, by nature, is an engineer. So when he gets his engineer brain going, much like you, they create some pretty amazing stuff. This for the novice caller. This one piece, this external mouthpiece, and this aluminum tube, as we said at the beginning of the show, is a game changer. So I wanted to get down there and talk to him about this and kind of the evolution of this, how it was created and why. So we did that. Now I'm gonna preempt this with the video. We had a little issue with the camera, unfortunately. So I know you guys are gonna blow us up here with the text, in that the video, the camera, I mean, we just resolved our audio issues, apparently. People are happy with how we sound. Now, so you're going to watch this. We're going to have a little bit of video confliction here. We're going to have a little in and out of focus and things. It's just what happened due to lighting and the lens, and just, it is what it is. The content, the information from Jason Phelps is what I wanted to bring to the people, Tommy. So we're just going to, you know, suck it up, and we're going to watch this, and you're going to enjoy the content. And that is what it is. So we're going to jump out for 2 minutes or so. Come back from this break. We'll be down there at Phelps Game Calls with Jason Phelps right here at Fish Hunt Northwest.
A Northwest favorite for almost 40 years, Arima boats are manufactured with pride right here in Bremerton, Washington. Arima Boats offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. With literally thousands of Arima boats on the water throughout the Pacific Northwest, Arima boats are a proven hull design that offers incredible fuel economy and all of the amenities that a serious angler is looking for. All Arima boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Arima boats are designed to maximize deck space while also providing ample seating. Contact us today at Arima Boats for all your boating needs and let us help you get out on the water.
End of Watch Ride to Remember is a group from the state of Washington traveling across the country to honor fallen officers from 2019. End of Watch organizer Jagrut Shah says they want to show departments who've lost partners and friends they are not alone.
I wanted to bridge this gap that we have and bring back to the department, let the deputies or the officers know that their lost has not been forgotten.
In 2019, 146 officers were killed in the line of duty, and End of Watch Ride to Remember is on a mission to pay their respects to each of them.
For us, it's just important realizing that the men and women in blue everywhere should remember that they haven't been forgotten. We're not forgetting them. We want the families to know that their loved ones have not been forgotten.
All right, hey guys, Dwayne England here, Fish Hunt Northwest, and not actually on the water, in the woods. We're in a building. Jason Phelps, by the way. Thanks for inviting me out.
Thanks for having me.
So we are actually here at the Phelps operation, Phelps Game Calls. The owner, founder, creator, engineer, mind, brainiac behind this whole entire deal, Jason Phelps. No stranger to the show. You've been in the studio a couple times.
Yep.
Had you on the phone a number of times. With you, we're always talking game calls. And it started a couple years ago with us, and it was mostly, we're just talking turkey and elk.
Yep.
Now you've blown up considerably. You have your whole line. You got waterfowl, you got your predator, you got your deer calls coming on. You've now kind of retooled and revamped. Got calls for guys like me, idiots like me, who started hunting late in life, suck at calling, especially elk, right? Haven't really gone down that road yet. But now you're actually putting stuff out there for guys like us and a handful of other folks to really start taking on this whole elk calling.
Yeah. So, and with that said, Dwayne made the point of, guys that are learning to call, but there's still a use for this for a guy like myself, or, a guy that is a good caller. This thing is extremely loud. It does some things, for location, big open country, big mountainous country, where I would still even use this. But what we wanted to do is we kind of went down that path of, let's design something I want to use, which was a diaphragm and a grunt tube. You put a diaphragm in your mouth, you blow through the grunt tube, and you're very, very efficient with that. And then we kind of had ran that out, exhausted that, and let's go back to the drawing board and make an external bugle mouthpiece for guys that can't run a diaphragm, but that I would want to use, that we could chuckle on, that we can lip bolt on, that we can get really good sounds out of. And some of the externals that were out there, they're very steppy, and when you're across a canyon from somebody, you can hear when somebody's got an external because it goes,
Yeah.
And you can hear that flutiness. And so we wanted to design one that uses our amp frame, that was very, very popular amongst elk callers.
So that's basically the same frame that you're putting in your diaphragm call?
Yep. So, it's basically, this is a pink, this is my own call, but what we basically did was take the green amp, which is in our lineup, and we just didn't tape it. And so that's what gets set in here upside down. We've actually been working on this part longer than we have with the metal bugle tube, the aluminum bugle tube. It's taken about 2 years. There's some stuff going on inside to get the right air to come out and the back pressure, and we really kind of hit a home run with this thing. And so this attachment goes, so right now we have the flared mouthpiece, which would be for a guy that wants to run a diaphragm. So you can just slip that on with a little twist, get it to lock down, and it's not going anywhere. And now you can use that on the metal bugle tube. So.
And you could pretty much pull off every sequential call or whatever it is you want to do that you would with a diaphragm in your mouth.
No, I'm definitely more comfortable with the diaphragm.
Sure, like you've been doing it forever.
Yeah, my chuckles, grunts are a little better. Everything, lip balls are going to be a lot more precise on a diaphragm. But there is a way with enough practice. If you just can't run a diaphragm, you're not going to be able to do it regardless. So you might as well practice on.
This isn't like a no-brainer. You're going to have to practice with this thing like any other call, but I'm guessing the learning curve on this is far less than like what diaphragm.
Yes, and we're starting to finally, we launched these last Thursday. It's a Tuesday now? So people are starting to get them in their hands. I'm getting a lot of videos of like little kids that literally pick it up, put their mouth on it, and they sound 90%, of what you would need to be. So they are very easy to use.
So for folks who have previously bought the Phelps Bugle and simply want to step into this, they can just go buy this component in itself and put on.
I wish it was that easy, because what we had going on with all of our old plastic Bugle tubes is you have this flared mouthpiece, and so that's why we really decided, like, you couldn't get something to lock over that because it. And so when we went to set out to design this, we actually had to design this so that it locks in.
Gotcha.
And so unfortunately, now there may be an adapter coming soon.
Okay.
But right now, the Easy Bugler mouthpiece only fits on the metal Bugle.
The metal Bugle. But you can get that component put on and still run your reed with the...
Yeah. So you can order it either way, and then if you decide you wanted to do the opposite accessory, you could buy one or the other after the fact.
Well, what's that thing sound like?
So we'll give it a little call here.
It's going to be loud here doing assembly, right? So we're actually part of the assembly room. So this is going to be a little toasty. I'm just going to go like this.
And so just super easy. You basically put your bottom lip over the small hole that's left between the plastic body and the frame. Apply a little bit of pressure and blow, and it's that easy. You don't get the you can run it. You can add some voice. When we lip ball, we can run it sideways, and then you can chuckle.
You can chuckle on that?
Yeah. I'm not as good as Dirk. I haven't had more practice with his
Dirk
chuckles.
is quite a chuckler, right?
Yeah, you can chuckle on it, and I'm gonna probably make a fool out of myself because I haven't spent that much time chuckling.
You won't make a fool of yourself to me or anybody watching, but you'll make a fool of yourself to Dirk. So that's the only one that'll call you out.
So you can chuckle on it. You got to kind of pop your lip more so than other ones, but you can get a somewhat realistic chuckle out of that.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and so that we've talked a little bit about the mouthpieces, not so much about the tube.
Mm-hmm.
So the Easy Bugler, the metal Bugle tube. So this thing is solid aluminum.
Wow.
You know, and the hardest part to actually getting this thing to market was how the heck do you build this thing?
And why aluminum?
So when you sit down and being the engineering nerd, when you sit down and me and another guy that I know that we were working on this project together, it's like, why aluminum? And plastic has a little tendency to produce a plastic sound. It's got a plastic resonance. It's got a good color is very tough to hear, but plastic always has its own little unique sound that may leave a little on the table for sounding more accurate.
Yeah.
So aluminum vibrates at a higher frequency. It doesn't give that dead plastic sound at the end.
Sure.
So number one, we can get a higher frequency that closer matches like a real bull elk.
Gotcha.
Number two, it's louder.
Yeah.
This thing is stiff. It doesn't grab as much energy as say a plastic tube does. So now we've got a tube that's louder.
Yep.
The other thing, which one of the main questions we got, well, how loud is that aluminum tube in the woods? Which the plastic tube is actually fairly loud if it's hitting, I'm always paying very close attention, like don't let it hit a tree, don't let it hit brush.
Right.
When you add the neoprene sleeve, so we took this tube and added a neoprene sleeve, and the only way we got away with it is because it was aluminum and the neoprene wasn't able to rob quite enough sound from it.
Oh.
But this tube is, it's very, very dead. I'm hitting it with a knuckle, but if you just walk by and hit a tree, and we've been testing, it doesn't make any sound.
Oh,
it's
so less than the plastic.
It's almost dead, and so we actually end up getting a quieter tube.
Is it, is the front partially closed off for helping with back pressure?
It does. So back pressure, as you're running a diaphragm, it's also needed for the Easy Bugler to even run. One thing people don't understand, if we were to just cut this thing off, say, a 1/4 inch back from where that end rolls over, you would have to put 2 to 3 times as much air through there, or feel like your lung capacity just can't keep up.
Yeah.
Versus when you cup it like that, you basically, the air moves fast through the small section, opens up, and then it hits that back and kind of eddies back on you, and it gives you a system that requires a lot less air.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then a lot of people think, well, if I took a 1-inch piece of vacuum hose, well, that won't take as much air, but it actually takes more air than a system.
Oh yeah.
Or our big tubes. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, we do all this for back pressure.
So how long is it going to be before you catch up with demand? Because this thing is flying. They're already, your first run on these were completely spoken for.
Yeah, for the most part. We had a few left that have been trickling in, but the most damage was done on that release day, the very first day.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be caught up by the end of the week, finally.
Okay.
The one downside is we had the huge day, which we were trying to tackle, but then our, every day after that's been a bigger day than we've been having in the past.
Right.
So we're working on catching up. We'll get there fairly quickly, I think.
Fantastic. Well, for guys like me and for a handful of others who are trying to figure out the whole calling and bugling thing when it comes to elk especially, And we'll get into a handful of your other calls. We've already talked to you previously about your waterfowl line and some of the predator stuff that Phelps Game Calls have come out with this last year. Just blowing it away out there. I mean, literally, I guess that's kind of a stupid calling pun, but you know, literally just you know, saturating the market with very good quality calls of all facets, and it's exciting. Very, very excited for you. This is another game changer. I mean, this is something I've been looking forward to because it's going to help idiots like me hopefully be successful in the woods coming in this season. So I want to thank you for showing us this and getting through this. Stick around. We're going to jump out for a quick break. And then we'll be right back in the studio. Well, hey, there you go, Tommy. Little day or afternoon over at Phelps.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I mean, one thing about Jason, you know, having that engineering background, he's always trying to innovate, right?
Yeah.
And I think where, you know, a lot of companies get into trouble, whether it's, you know, a boat manufacturer or a call manufacturer, is they quit trying to learn, they quit trying to improve, right? They're good enough, right? And I think when you have that idea that you're good enough, that's when you get complacent and that's when you fail. But Jason and Dirk and the rest of the team at Phelps and now Meat Eater, they're always trying to do better. Like, how can we change the game? And they have.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And you know, is nothing simple, but you take these mouth diaphragms and all the variances that they create, all the different sizes. I mean, most of these have a flat piece of latex, a square cut on the back side of this bridge. But when you start looking at the number of turkey calls that they create, the different angled cuts on the actual latex, the number of little wedges that they take out, and how that little micro piece of latex flapping in there as you make a call can change the tone and the projected call so much just by the different cuts and trials and error. And you know, I asked them, so we do have another segment hopefully I can put together for the coming weeks, if it's not too doggone blurry. So in the process of stamping out these diaphragms in all the different colors, which, you know, categorize them for obviously differences of tone and pitch and for what it's used for. Is this predominantly a big bull call or compared to predominantly a cow call? And so the latex is different thicknesses, the size of the overall piece is different in size. Went upstairs to where they were stamping some of these out, and his presses on where they build these frames and whatnot is proprietary. Him as an engineer actually created and built the machines that they use to build the bridges for the frames on how this all comes together. So you think, oh, it's just a little diaphragm, no big deal.
Right.
But when you look at the engineering behind of what creates, you know, this green versus this pink, and how much difference in tone these can create, especially maybe not so much with a novice, but somebody who does a lot of calling and puts this in their mouth, you're gonna key in on differences, subtle differences of tone and volume. And so, you know, I was kind of blown away and impressed just with the makeup and how they build this stuff. They have some of the other components turned out and, you know, built elsewhere, but they bring them in, everything's assembled there, packaged there, and it basically gets Phelps's hands on it before it leaves the door.
Well, you know, and the other thing too, you were talking about the diaphragm calls. You know, if you go to the Phelps website and you look, you'll find a chart, right? You're going to find an X and a Y axis. And what they do is they have actually plotted all of the different diaphragm calls onto that chart to help you determine, like, you know, which one's the loudest, right? Which one sounds like the meanest bull that you've ever met, and then which one is the easiest to call, right?
Right, good point.
And so if you're somebody that's starting out, you got to pick your call wisely, right? And I think, you know, with this easy caller system, I mean, that's even taking it a step further, even trying to get people, you know, introduced to the idea of calling. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've bought some calls in the past, and I've played with them minimally, just because that barrier to entry to figure it out. Right. You're like, I'm never going to sound like a bull elk, right? Well. And you're just like, oh well, I'll quit. But I mean, with this system, I think it's gonna get you hooked into that calling scenario, right? And help you progress. And whereas before there was a huge like step into entry to calling, and so I think this is going to change that.
So this aluminum tube. metal tube, then you have the external Easy Bugler mouthpiece, and then you have the external mouthpiece for using your diaphragm calls. And you can buy these components and you can utilize interchange. Some days maybe you just want to utilize the Easy Bugler. You want to get out of the truck, torch off a bugle with the Easy Bugler and just try to, you know, see if anything's down there. And then maybe tighten it up a little, get a little more dialed in and go with your diaphragms, whatever the reason. Maybe you stick with the Easy Bugler all day long. I mean, you can become very proficient with just this component in and of itself, and that's your tool, right? So what's interesting is, like you're speaking of, the progression. In his own right, you know, Stephen Ranella admits that, you know, he's a pretty accomplished hunter, I would say. He would tell you he's a horrible elk bugler and caller, right? Cow calls and stuff, sure. A lot of folks have a much easier time getting down cow calls, calf calls, things like that. I'm continuing to work through that progression as well because there's different tones, different cadences. Simply go to Phelps Game Calls, phelpsgamecalls.com, and go into their video vault, and there is a whole series. Dirk is walking. You're talking a world championship bugler.
Right.
Learn from the best on the equipment they provide. Watch Dirk, watch his videos, try to emulate or mimic the exact calls that he's using with the exact diaphragms that he's putting in his mouth and the cadence of call, and whether you want to work on your chuckle or your long, you know, extended bugle, sound like that big badass monster bull that's out there, or that cow that's just around the corner. They cover it all. And so, you know, go to their site, learn from them guys using the stuff they create, and you're gonna get there. It's like any other instrument. It takes practice. Right?
Absolutely.
So,
there's only one thing that I really wanted to see, and that was I thought the whole video would have been better if Jason would have been in his Hulk Hogan costume,
or something.
And I think if you would have delivered it that way, that would have been very special.
Or Dirk come running through in his Macho Man Randy Savage outfit, right? Just off camera, come blazing through there. Maybe next time, right? Maybe next time. So, all right, we're going to jump out for a quick commercial break. We come back, we're going to be in the bait lab. We got a how-to this week. We're curing up some previously frozen, uncured coho eggs. Tommy, believe it or not, we're already on the front doorstep of fall fisheries as some of our local Chinook enter into our Puget Sound rivers. This happens in August, folks, and some of the other rivers down Oregon. Things start happening. We get early opportunity on Chinook in river terminal fisheries. Bobber and egg is such a great way to spend August on sunny mornings and with Chinook in the river. Sometimes you got to use eggs. I like it if every day we had to use eggs. I'd be just fine with that. There is a process to successfully curing baits that will work, taking uncured frozen skeins and curing them so that they will fish effectively, milk out well, hold up, be durable, lots of good color and scent. I'm going to show you how to do all of that when we come back from this commercial break right here at Fish Hunt Northwest.
Allied boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Deep V 21-degree dead rise at the transom guarantees a smooth ride no matter the conditions. Allied offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Allied boats range from 19 to 32 foot in length, so no matter what type of heavy gauge boat you are looking for, we have it for you. All of our Corsair 21-foot and larger designs come standard with reverse chine that is welded inside and out with no extrusions below the waterline, so that you will never have to worry about corrosion problems down the road. Get out on the water today in a boat that you can trust and enjoy with Allied Boats. Contact us at Allied Boats today to learn much more about our incredible fishing machines.
New days, new beginnings, new friends, new loves, new dreams, new goals, new scenery, new job. No matter what the next chapter holds, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate will be there to help you find the new that's right for your lifestyle at any stage of your life. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Expect better.
Hey guys, welcome back to Fish Hunt Northwest, Dwayne England, and we are here in the Bait Lab. I want to remind everybody, Bait Lab presentations are brought to you by Max Lure. Check out everything they have going on at maxlure.com. Now with that, tonight we are curing some previously frozen Coho eggs. This here actually is about a 5-pound block of uncured frozen Coho eggs, okay? And we're going to take this brick of said eggs and create a bait with them that will fish fantastic and has, as you can see, plenty of color, plenty of moisture left in the eggs. These cut into bait-sized pieces will milk out really well, put off a lot of scent, provide scent downriver that's going to entice Chinook and or even Coho to come upriver and respond to that. So no better way to go after fall Chinook in the river, in the Beard's opinion, more so than putting, as Herzog used to say, guts on a hook under a bobber, okay? So how do we get there? How do we take frozen, uncured eggs, not damage them, and get them to look like that? Well, I can tell you this, there are some folks that rely on, well, there's a number of different ways to do it. And so through trial and error, I have found a recipe that I stick with because it flat out produces. You can take these and let them thaw out on the counter and add any of your typical sprinkle on powdered cures, roll them around. I think you're going to find that you'll be very dissatisfied with the outcome. The eggs are going to be very soft. They're going to continue to juice out. It's because the membrane of these eggs has been stretched when it freezes, expanded. Now you thaw them out and the fluid inside the membrane reduces, but the skin has been stretched and weakened. Now you simply cure them with a powder cure and roll them around. A lot of the eggs begin to burst and pop, and you end up with an extremely wet piece of skin. Yeah, it has good color. It'll last a cast or two, but it's not going to fish and perform like a well-cured egg. So a wet brine in this process is how you want to do it. I'm going to show you a recipe that works time and time again. I've had great success with it. What we're doing is we're not just curing the egg, but we're thawing the egg in a liquid bath, so it doesn't allow the air just to simply thaw it and for the egg to weaken. As it thaws, it cures. Thereby, it toughens the membrane around the egg as it's curing. So what do we go with? Well, you guys know me. I'm with Potskis. We're going to use some fire brine. We're going to use some Baraxo fire. We're going to add in some krill powder because krill powder in your egg mixture is always a go-to. These fish respond very well to the scent of krill. In this particular batch, I'm actually going to add in a good old can of tuna in oil. Yeah, I know water and oil separate, but when you stir this around and the eggs begin to absorb the salts, the sugars, the scents, the oils, it draws it in as the eggs expand and draw this stuff in. It does take in a great amount of scent based on the tuna. In the process, we're going to add some fire dye because I like my eggs extremely red. We're going to add some sodium sulfite, okay? Not a whole lot because you don't want to burn the eggs. This is not a real hot batch of cure. It's sodium sulfite is a bite stimulant. It's also a preservative. Beta sulfite, different various types of sulfites on the market. Sodium sulfite is one I can get my hands on. You can buy sodium sulfite at your sporting goods stores under different labels. Potskis doesn't have sodium sulfite. I just keep it in this small bottle because I get it in a large volume bag. So yeah, the fire brine, the powdered cure. One thing that I'm going to mix in here is this is a container with 2 bottles of fire brine. Now, if you only have the clear or the natural, you can add enough red fire dye to get the eggs as red as you want them, okay? If you have the red fire dye, go ahead and just start with the red fire dye. So I have 1 bottle red fire dye in here. I'm going to go ahead and add a second bottle. It takes, these are 31, 32 ounce bottles, 31 ounce bottles, I guess. It takes at least 2 for about 5 pounds of eggs. Now the key here, depending on if your eggs are frozen in a big flat brick like that, or maybe they're more stacked on themselves in a smaller, not so much surface area. The key here is to get enough volume in liquid that the eggs are for the most part covered in liquid, because now we add the salts and whatnot, they will float a little bit, but as they begin to thaw, you want to make sure you're sloshing them around and getting that liquid on top. You don't want the eggs just thawing out exposed to the air. That's the key. Okay, got a couple bottles of fire brine in here. Now this mixture here is 1/4 cup non-iodized sea salt, 1/4 cup sugar, okay, 1/4 cup red Baraxo fire. It's adding additional curing elements, bite stimulants, and color. We also put in 1/8 of a cup of the sodium sulfite, and about 2 heaping tablespoons of the krill powder, okay? So now I want to mix in my powder contents into the liquid brine, and I'm going to stir this around a little bit. Now you will have some of it settle onto the bottom, but as the eggs get in here and start absorbing this, and you come out every couple hours and slosh this around, you'll see by the end of 24 hours, because this is a 24-hour process of letting these soak in the brine to thaw out and cure, you'll notice that a lot of these salt, sugars, the Baraxylfire, the granular components of this brine actually gets absorbed into the eggs. We're going to add in our tuna. Again, this is the tuna in oil. And, you know, a lot of times we cure up eggs and we don't add a particular scent right out of the gate. We like to just cure them up, and then as we work through the day, we can find some scents that we can add to it. And I do that as well, but I can tell you by adding 1 little can of tuna in oil into your brine mix here, it adds a bite stimulant that I don't care if you're a coho, a chinook, a chum, you are going to be drawn to these eggs. If I want to add sardine or something on top of that later, you guys know I like to use some of my dried powders that I'll sprinkle onto some of my eggs when I'm out in the field, or I use Mike's oil scent, sand shrimp, sardine, crawdad, some of these different oils that we can use. That works too, but for the base on this wet brine, I like to add in 1 can of tuna in oil. The other thing I'm going to add in is my fire dye, okay? Now for 2 bottles of fire brine, I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of fire dye. I like my eggs really, really dark red. 2 tablespoons is about a half a bottle, and I just happen to have half a bottle right here. Makes it nice and easy. So that right there adds a tremendous amount of color. It's going to get that deep red color that I really look for when making this brine. So that's it. You know, the 1/4 cup of ingredients: salt, sugar, Baraxylfire, an eighth cup of the sodium sulfite, a couple tablespoons of the krill powder, and of course the tuna. And you're just adding in your dye. And then we simply take our brick of eggs, and try not to splash. I'm gonna lay that down in here, okay? And push that down in here. And so it wants to float up because of all the salt and whatnot that's in there. I'll let that sit there for a couple hours. I'm gonna come out here though, and I'm gonna be sloshing that liquid on top of there. It actually kind of gets down on top of those eggs and begins to help thaw them out. Within a few hours, this begins to break up, and then the eggs really become separated, and as they begin to space out, they drop down in here. Pretty soon the eggs are all enveloped in the fluid, and they truly are getting cured and thawing and absorbing all the cured products simultaneously. Now, I'm gonna leave these in here for 24 hours. So I would give this a few hours tonight, make sure they're starting to break up. I'd go to bed, let them soak in there, maybe stir them around tomorrow morning before I go to work or whatever it is. Then I'm just gonna leave them sit. Room temperature, it's out here in the garage, it's not excessively hot. If it is, maybe put them in the laundry room or something where the wife might allow you to. It is gonna smell like tuna wherever you put this vat of eggs curing, so you gotta be mindful of that. But we're just gonna continue to slosh that around and get that liquid brine on there. After 24 hours, those eggs will be all separated out. They're gonna be individual skeins, much like this, okay? And this is what we're truly after, okay? We want these eggs to look like this. Individual skeins, fully cured, really nice rows of berries, all intact. The skin on these skeins feels extremely durable, but yet you can just see there's a lot of juice inside these eggs, and they're gonna, when they're cut into bait-sized pieces and put on hooks, they're gonna fish very well. How do we get them to this point? Well, once they're done in the vat of brine, I'm gonna take out the individual skeins, I'm gonna lay them in a colander, and I wanna be egg side down, skin side up. I'm gonna allow that excess fluid to drain out of those eggs for about 20 to 30 minutes over a garbage can, or whatever works for you. Then I'm gonna take out each individual skein, and quite honestly, I'm gonna basically lay them in a container much like this, okay? And I'll put these skeins, and mind you, these were in the fridge already, so most of the fluid's been kind of absorbed off them, but I'll put a couple, 3 skeins in the bottom of a container, and then I will put on another layer of paper towels, just like this, and then I will pull out of my colander a couple more skeins and lay those in there, and I will stack this in here until it's full. I will cover it with paper towels, not a lid, and I will set that in the refrigerator. multiple containers like this out of 5 pounds of eggs. I will set that in the refrigerator for 24 hours, okay? I'm gonna let that sit in there 24 hours. It draws the excess fluid out of the eggs. Now, these eggs right here are ready to either keep in my refrigerator and take fishing this next week, or if it's going to be a month or so before I fish them, I may want to freeze them. So I'll put them into my Ziploc bags and freeze them, you know, till they're solid. If I'm looking at long-term storage, I will freeze them in the Ziploc bag, draw the air out of it first, freeze them in the Ziploc bag, and after a good solid week of freeze, I can slide them into a vacuum pack bag and vacuum pack them, and then they're going to last in the freezer for literally years because all the air is off them. Remember, when it comes to storing eggs, air is the enemy, so get rid of it. So whether I'm going to store them short term and fish them, put them in the freezer for long term, I have some options. But bottom line is, if you cure these eggs up appropriately, they're going to turn out to be a fantastic bait that's going to work this fall, next fall, whenever. The fall fishing in the rivers is right around the corner, so get yourself some frozen eggs. If you don't know where, check out B&B Baits. We've put the phone number up there on the screen. We can throw that out there on the text as we get done here. Brad has several pounds of eggs willing to sell. You're going to get them in 5-pound blocks just like this. So you have the ability to get frozen eggs if you can't find them anywhere else, and now you have the means to get them cured that are going to be successful for you on the river as we get into this time of year in those terminal Chinook fisheries. Okay, going to jump out for a quick break. Hit us up with any questions, comments, concerns on our Facebook page if this is confusing in any way, and we will get back to you to make sure you do this right. We're going to jump out for a quick break. We come back, we're going to be back in studio with Tommy Dolan to close out the show.
Defiance boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Defiance boats come standard with large fish boxes that are fully insulated so that you can ice your fish properly all day. Defiance boats feature a 21 to 22 degree dead rise at the transom and a large reverse chine for incredible handling and stability offshore. Defiance boats are foam flotation filled and unsinkable for the ultimate in safety while fishing offshore. Defiance boats feature fuel-efficient hull designs with large fuel tank capacity so that you can have maximum fuel range for making long offshore runs completely safe and affordable. All Defiance boats come standard with self-bailing decks for improved safety while at sea. Defiance Boat offers all our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Defiance Boats for all your boating needs, and let us help you get out on the water.
Today, the need for quality private security services is at an all-time high. Contract Security Service provides day-to-day peace of mind as they protect people and property. Phoenix Protective Corporation strives for excellence. Above all, Phoenix security officers are managed by leaders trained to inspire and encourage greatness. Here at Phoenix, we provide service for multiple state and federal contracts, with service ranging from uniform, patrol, alarm monitoring, canine detection, executive protection, as well as investigative work. We here at Phoenix are looking for highly motivated individuals to apply. If you're a vet, retired or active, and would like to work with us, please apply.
All right, welcome back in studio here, Fish on Northwest, as we close out the show, Thomas.
Yeah, beautiful job there.
Did you learn a little something about egg curing?
I did. I did.
I can't wait to get you on the river this fall with me and the beard. He keeps shaking his head like, yes, Tommy, you have to come do this. Hands down, his favorite pastime of everything, any opportunity to go do. He's good with, fish in saltwater and ocean, all that. I think tuna will be an eye-opener for him, but just something about watching your bobber drain and a big old Chinookie on the other end of that hook and, on the river. It's just, there's
hey man, sign me up. I'm all for it.
Yep. We just got to work it in between our hunting schedules and try to see if we can't get you out there. So it all starts in the bait lab, Tommy. All the fish are typically caught in the garage, in case you didn't know. So that's what we got going on. But as we close out the show, and we are, talking a little hunting here, a couple things. 1, are you scouting? 2, are you working out? And 3, are you shooting?
Yep. So definitely, I think for me right now, the big thing is getting my body in shape for the hunt. So, you know, I've been on the program with Coach Mitch at the helm.
Yeah.
AKA the rack,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Doing the bull elk program.
Right,
and so,
right.
you know, the thing about working out, it doesn't have to be, I think the misconception is it's not this like put on a lot of mass program. It's not this like you have to lift heavy weights or you have to go to failure. I think that's kind of the myth that's surrounded by working out. But really what you're trying to do is you're trying to prevent injury. Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's part of that is cardiovascular, and then part of that is muscular and mobility. Right. If you don't have good mobility, you've got a lot of inflammation, and a lot of it comes down to honestly is all of those muscles that are the support muscles, not your quads, not your hamstrings, but the muscles that are on the side of your knee. Right. The little ones. If you're not training those, then you're going to be subject to injury.
Stabilizers.
And that's when your hunt ends. So I think, you know, that's number one. Is getting in shape, and there's a lot of ways that you can slice and dice that, right?
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that I still don't like to lift heavy, right? Because I am.
Yeah.
But
you
know, and then on the scouting part, you know, I think for me right now, it's been a lot of e-scouting, right? It's still a little bit early for my hunts. You know, my first hunt is going to be a little bit later than yours. So. You know, right now those animals aren't necessarily in that zone that I'm going to be hunting, right? So, so e-scouting, right? And I'm a huge fan of Onyx and Google Earth. Those are two of the tools that I use a lot. And then the other thing, it's time to get, you know, whether it's, you know, in your case a bow, in my case a rifle, it's time to get shooting one way or another. And so, had some issues with the load development on my 300 Win Mag. I've reached out to my good buddy Mark, who's just he's a rifle doctor. Okay. And so he's helping me right now, making sure that I've got a load that is well under sub MOA. And I think by the time he's done and kind of helping me pinpoint what my issues are, it's going to be a half MOA rifle or less. So that's definitely the target, right? You want to take out the variance in the machine so that you know if you got a shooting problem, it's your problem, not the rifle.
Right. Good point. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things to pay attention to. A lot of different variables that you need to address and be on top of. You can't just go to the range, or I can't just walk out here to my 20, 30, 40 opportunity of shooting my bow consistently and not pay attention to scouting here in the near future, putting my hunt together and putting my plan together, and or just blatant disregard for my workout ethic, right? It all has to come together to be successful. And yeah, you know, time commitment is the key, and often time is of the essence. I mean, everybody's so busy to find that balance and try to figure out what do I need the most work in? What should I pay attention to more so this week than next week? Or can we find balance in all three of those? You know, it's the trifecta, right?
But I tell you what, I mean, even 20 minutes a week, right, or 20 minutes a day for a workout, right? 20 minutes. I mean, I guarantee that if I sat down with you, say I followed you throughout your entire day, and every time you did something, I wrote what you did and the time. I can guarantee you for almost every individual out there, I can find 20 minutes that you wasted in a day that could be allocated to working out, to shooting, right, to preparation. I mean, there's time. You just have to be a little bit more efficient and streamlined in how you structure your day.
For a lot of people, right out of the gate, it would be 3 to 4 hours of available time that you spend on your phone.
Right.
Easily.
Yep.
Right? Put the phone down, pick up the barbell, get on the treadmill, whatever. Go for a run, pack something up the hill, whatever. So, finding time, adjusting your schedule, making it important enough to make change is what the key is. Speaking of hunting and wild animals, I think I'd mentioned at the start of the show, this isn't hunting, by the way. The grizzly bear conversation will continue. I'm very intrigued by this. The crossover of what some folks feel like they understand in the cause and effect of having grizzlies on the landscape and how detrimental they are to the ungulate herds. I think when we talk with Wayne next week with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, it should open your eyes. Now, if you think he's full of smoke and you want to be one of those who truly believe WDFW has planted wolves on the landscape and now has planted grizzly bears, you can believe that. We're not gonna say anything about it. I mean, that's your belief. That's cool. That's great. I choose not to believe that. Tommy chooses not to believe that. So the information of what these critters are doing there and how they intermingle with other critters, I find absolutely interesting. And is it a detrimental impact to our opportunity to hunt elk and deer in that particular region, right?
Now, I don't care how the wolves got there. I don't want them there.
No,
okay.
I will,
Let me just say that.
Correct. How they got there is one thing. You can be in one camp or the other. Do they need to be there? Are they detrimental to our ungulates? Absolutely. Is there a lot of problems with certain packs time and time again? Absolutely. Is there a lot of questions on how they're being managed? Absolutely. I mean, we've gone down this road time and time again. I, too, am not happy with the numbers, especially in that northeast quadrant, and how this whole program's being managed and what the recovery plan is, right? The bears are a totally different story. Bears, Phelps and I had this conversation the other day, too, and he was just kind of chuckling because he gets it. The wolves are an issue. The bears,
the population numbers are low. Their growth rate is low. And then I think we alluded to it in last week's show that really the percentage of ungulates that they actually eat is very, very small because like their cousin the black bear, their diets are heavy on the berries and the grasses.
80% vegetation. 20% meat, of which 15 to 17% is derived at a certain time of year. And oddly enough, it coincides with fall hunting. And most of what they're eating is gut piles. Left by hunters. So their impact to the ungulates is far less than you would actually believe. Anyway, we'll get more into that. I'm curious on how they cross over and intermingle with the black bear, the cougars, the wolf, right? The predation amongst all predators. How do they fit into that piece? And truly, is there any concern or should we have concern? So before we close out, hey, Tom Ryle with WDFW sent me a great little email this evening, Tommy. There is an opportunity here for kids, and I'm going to have to go off the email because it came in here so late. The First Hunt Foundation hosts the first annual Chris Christensen Memorial Hunt. Okay, this is a really good thing. Basically, August 26th through the 29th of 2021. So that's coming up. 12 eligible first come, first served youth hunters will have the opportunity to harvest their first deer. Now, all-inclusive hunt camp, safety, field craft, marksmanship, hunting tactics, field care, butchering, cooking, meals, gear, ammo, etc., all provided. Okay, first 12, first come, first served. This is a mentored hunt where each participant will be paired with a certified Fish Hunt Foundation mentor, wildlife professionals, WDFW enforcement, hunter ed coordinators, and other hunting experts will provide informative presentations on different topics tailored to youth first-time hunters. So it's all about getting our youth involved in hunting. So you can contact this program. Go to Aaron, that's Aaron, Aaron.Garcia at dfw.wa.gov, okay? Aaron.Garcia at dfw.wa.gov for all the information and the contact information to see if you can qualify your youth to be one of the 12 selected to be given the opportunity to participate in this. Again, the dates are August 26th to the 29th. And talk about first-time opportunity. Maybe you're a dad or a mom's been trying to get your youngster into hunting. They just really haven't wanted to get involved in that. And you go, hey, here's a great opportunity to introduce you to it. We go through this weekend. We get through this entire thing, get your hunter safety certification. You get to actually shoot an animal. And when we walk away from there, either you're going to be totally immersed in it and go, man, I can't get enough, or you're going to be, man, it's not for me, right? It's a great opportunity. Anyway, Tom, thanks for sending us that. More information available, obviously. Go check it out. Hopefully some of you guys get your kids or extended families, whatever, involved in this. I think it's a great opportunity. So, all right, with that there, Tommy, I'm going to pretty much wrap it up for us this week. Next week, we will be that much closer to getting on the tuna grounds.
Well, I'm gonna get on the tuna grounds Sunday.
This Sunday.
Yep, this Sunday.
What's the weather forecast?
So I'll have a report. You know, it's going to be a little nautical.
Oh, well, that doesn't
be a little
stop
nautical.
you. Doesn't stop Captain Tommy.
No, we're going. We're going. It's going to blow a little bit. It'll probably be 15 to 20 knots, gust above 20 when we're out there. But
that's Sunday. We do have some weather coming in. Sunday. Yeah, a little change. We're going to drop from this high 80s to low 90s we've had the last couple of days down to mid 70s inland here with a little wind and some cloud cover. So that does tell you there's something pushing in off of the ocean out there. So, All right, well, good. Best of luck to you. Can't wait for you to bring me some tuna loins next week. I'll be waiting at the table when you pull in my driveway.
Right on.
Sounds like a plan. All right, that's going to do it for us this week here at Fish Hunt Northwest. Thanks for tuning in. Please take some time, share our content, push it on out there for others to find. Facebook has been a little precarious lately, so we could use the help. Also, jump over to our YouTube channel. Give us a subscribe. Hit the like and push that information out to folks that follow you. We much appreciate it. Help us build that YouTube channel. Also, go to www.fishhuntnw.com. Check out everything we got going on there. Mitch Deppner, Coach Kelly is on there with his workout regimen, the rack. We also have recipes on there from Chef Jeff from Finn's Bistro. So all of that happening, and a lot of how-tos, DIYs, all that stuff happening on our web page. Check out our online store with lots of swag, lots of hats, lots of everything, Jinglin Jigs, the whole ball of wax. All of that at www.fishhuntnw.com. All right, going to do it for us. We'll see you next Thursday right here at 6 p.m. Have a great week.